Happy Thursday. Keep thinking it's Friday. Woo. Um, we are going to get started in just a moment. Okay, welcome. Hey, Monica, Sunita, and Ed. Um, it's Thursday. So thank you for joining me. It's our Power Hour session. So we've moved to like twice a month because I really want to just have a little bit more time to make these Power Hour sessions pretty impactful. So today we're going to talk about my number one lead source. So super exciting. I really encourage questions. It helps you learn. I don't think anything is silly or stupid, and I'm pretty confident I'll be able to answer them. So if you have any questions throughout this presentation, definitely post it in the chat. And we're going to go ahead and get started just because there is a lot to cover today, and I want to make sure we have enough time. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, my number one lead source, and this has been the same since 2007. So I really only have two main lead sources that really do wonders for my business, okay? Everything about what I do inside of distress sales is not traditional. I do feel a lot of coaching programs and people will tell you, oh, just start a networking group or post on social media, blah. What are you doing to really stand out in your market? And if you take today's session and really run with it, you absolutely will stand out in your market because no other agents understand what's going on when it comes to this. And it's my number one lead source. It has been since 2007. So we're going to talk about what it is, the step-by-step implementation, implementation, there's a lot, right? But I'm just going to go over the step-by-steps. And then we're going to do an exclusive preview of the number one lead source, okay? Like I said, post any questions that you would like to have answered. All right, my number one lead source is bankruptcy. I love bankruptcy, and I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, but I do know how it works hand in hand with selling. Now, there's two different types of bankruptcy. There's a 7 and a 13. There's others, but really personally, it's a 7 and a 13. And we're going to touch on that. Why is this my number one lead source? Well, I'm not actually, I should change that. I'm 1000% certain that most real estate agents nationwide don't truly understand how a bankruptcy works and selling a home. Okay. It is complicated, but it doesn't have to be that way if you know and you've been trained properly. Number two, this expertise with bankruptcy, it does allow me to stand out. So we have this awesome flow chart that we're sending out weekly. And I've gotten 6 calls in the last like 10 days. I think because there's an issue with government loans and the delinquencies are rising. And we won't get into that today, but I have a whole like theory behind all that. But people have said, oh, I went back to my other realtor who sold me the property. And I was like, no, here's what you should do. And they talked to my bankruptcy attorney, and half of those people are now filing, and then we're going to sell. So it's just, it all goes hand in hand, and that's why I love it so much. It does allow me to stand out because I'm very confident when I'm talking to these sellers, and I can really come up with a game plan for them. Okay. And it's long-term business. So number one lead source since 2007. Yeah, that's a long time, right? And I do think it's going to continue that way. And it can continue for you as well, but you do have to implement it. Like I could sit here and talk all day about how I do this and that, and I give you everything, but you do have to implement it inside of your business. So just think about that. Okay. So briefly, I'm just gonna talk about what a 7 is in a 13, and then we'll go into the steps. Sorry, allergy season is upon us. Okay, chapter 7 is essentially a bankruptcy that's going to wipe away all of the debt. Okay. Just wipe it away. That's essentially in very easy terms. Bye-bye debt. Okay. There are qualifications for bankruptcies. What those qualifications are, I don't know. That is something that we leave up to our bankruptcy attorneys on my team, because again, we are not bankruptcy attorneys. Okay. But there is qualifications. So like here, they may not, here in Illinois, there's always going to be a threshold for like income and equity. So if they have too much equity, then they may not be able to file. So there's definitely some ins and outs there. Again, you are not a bankruptcy attorney, and you want to make sure they know that. But I do have bankruptcy attorneys on my team that can help walk you through this. However, I am an expert on selling a property during or after bankruptcy. Okay. Chapter 13, that is the other bankruptcy. It is essentially a debt consolidation. So the homeowners are going to be making a payment every month. The problem with a 13 is a lot of times they're making a debt payment and they're making a mortgage payment. And it is just way, way too much money. When you don't make the payments, it moves towards a dismissal. That is where the issue arises, because if they filed during a foreclosure process or when they had an auction, wherever the bank left off with that process, they're just going to pick right back up. Okay. So there's a different way to go about 7s as well as 13s. The other thing is, again, there's going to be different qualifications and stuff for a 13. Any questions? Like that's a real general explanation of 7 and 13. Obviously to sell with a 7 and a 13, that is going to be different depending on which one it is. Any questions so far? Okay. I don't know what you are seeing in your market and stuff, but I'm a nerd when it comes to data. Okay, so I want you to really think about this. What if you just implemented bankruptcy into your business now? It may not get you something tomorrow. It may get you something next month. Or if you work towards it, what if it's your number one lead source in 6 months? There is a problem with the FHA, VA government loans. Okay. I don't know if you're seeing it. I don't know if you're reading about it, but there is an issue, and they have been delaying the sales on these and delaying. Every single short sale or phone call that I've received recently, 100% of them are FHA. And 50% of them are going to have to file a bankruptcy to stop a date. So just keep that in mind as we're going through this. If I did it, and I got 2 boys, I did it when I was literally in the room having my child and on the phone. Okay, so if I did it, I know that you all can. Okay, but you just have to put the motions in place. Okay, just do it. Okay, just keep that in mind. All right, let's talk about the steps. Now, there's a lot of there's 5 steps that I have. Inside of those steps, there's going to be things that you will have to do. Okay. We can't get into everything today because otherwise I would be here all day with you guys, which I love that. But we're just going to give a general overview. I really, really try to make things as easy as possible and essentially kind of, those books, Bankruptcy for Dummies or whatever, those dummy books, that's what I try to do, okay? I know what it was like when I first started and my brain was all over the place trying to put together lead sources and what I was going to do. I don't want that for you all, okay? I already did all that. I did lots of trial and error. You don't need to do it. So you're going to have to get bankruptcy data from somewhere, right? So if you've been on my Power Hour sessions before, you know that we absolutely love Property Radar, okay? Why? Because I like to keep things simple as possible. And I've tried every single lead source out there. And most of them suck. That's my opinion. You don't have to use Property Radar, but I would say check it out, okay? So here's just a 5-day free trial that you can get if you would like to check it out. So we're going to take a look at the bankruptcy data. So really, you're going to have to gather the bankruptcy data. And Property Radar released this last July, and it was like Christmas morning for me because there's basically the bankruptcy data inside of Property Radar are killing two birds with one stone. I'm going to tell you what that means in just a second. We also use Property Radar for our number 2 lead source, which we'll probably talk about in the coming weeks. I do want to have a Power Hour session on these government loans and kind of what's going to happen and how you can put that in place because FHA short sales are complicated, but they don't have to be. Okay, so here is bankruptcy data. So I'm just going to show you. I have a couple of counties set up here for me. So you want to go through and set up the bankruptcy. How do you do that? I did a very simple step-by-step video for you, okay? And it shows how I set mine up, all of that. We really want to figure out who is in a 7 or a 13, okay? Now 7s could be discharged and they could still do something. 13s could be dismissed and you can still do something, okay? So what do I mean by killing two birds with one stone? Well, if we pull up this one right here, see at the top, this one's a new icon. Oh, high equity. Okay, so that's new. So this one, my guess is probably going to be a 13 because he has high equity. But if you see this little pig, it means they're in bankruptcy. So I know they are because they're in my list. So what do you want to do? Well, you're going to pull the data probably every week. And you're going to organize it. See? So this is an open Chapter 13 case. He probably would not be able to file a Chapter 7 because of the high equity. Now, that's just here in the state of Illinois. I know, like, say in Arizona, they can have high equity, and if they qualify for a 7, they can file. So it is going to vary depending on where you're at. But here's the thing. We now have Joseph's information, phone number, email, the address, all of that, right? So they can get a marketing piece from us. But if you click here, you also can find out who the bankruptcy attorney is. Now, this is the data that I love, okay? I want to get in front of these bankruptcy attorneys. And there's a handful of ways to do that. This is one of them. So how do you get in front of them from just this information? Well, we show you that, okay? Look, you may even know more. These bankruptcy attorneys tend to not think outside the box, but you do want to target small to medium-sized firms, not some big ones, okay? They're probably not going to give you the time of the day. But we've created a Google spreadsheet for you to input all of the attorney info. This right here is going to be huge. So you can send letters out to these 7 or 13s. Maybe they'll call you. When they call you, you'll have to connect with their bankruptcy attorney that way. Or you just go straight to the bankruptcy attorney because Kevin here may have a handful of deals that he can refer to you, and he can be on the file for the whole entire transaction, okay? So it's really, really a win. but you got to keep all of it kind of organized. But don't worry if you're not organized. We keep things very simple. It's great. Okay, so that's the property radar. Any questions on property radar? So you're really going to gather, analyze, and organize. There are step-by-step videos on how to set up those lists to make sure you're getting the proper information. Every week, you're going to analyze that information, and then you're going to organize it, okay? We don't necessarily organize, well, we really organize the attorney info. That's going to be huge moving forward because you do want to try to get in front of those attorneys, okay? Again, if you have questions, I would just post in the chat, okay? All right, number 2. So you're going to market to the homeowners. So a letter, a postcard, but this is going to help you. This is my number 1 lead source, bankruptcy. It is going to help you stand out in your area, but you don't want plain boring marketing, okay? So if you're like, hey, Heather, what kind of marketing? Well, we do have that. I don't share it in my free group. I don't, because we've spent so many years developing all of this. And it's just unique stuff like the flow chart. The flow chart would not go to the chapter 7 or 13s because that is an option inside of the flow chart. But the flow chart is what is getting our phones to ring right now. Okay. It is unique. It is different. They open it up and they're like, wow. Okay. That is what the marketing is that you're going to have to send to the 7 or 13s. And I highly recommend creating a video of yourself so these families can put a face with a name and explain in very simple terms how a 7 works if you're selling, okay, and how a 13 works if you're selling. It's just different, okay? All right, step number 3, connect with their bankruptcy attorney. So my secret weapon, I'm going to show you in a minute. I really go about like my business trying to help educate people as much as I possibly can. In fact, when you just logged onto this Zoom, I was emailing this long thread of emails, and it's these attorneys that have no idea of an FHA short sale. And I went in and made a video explaining an FHA short sale, and they're still not understanding it. And I'm like, I don't know what else I can do. I guess it doesn't surprise me anymore, but I really want to educate. If you don't understand an FHA or you don't understand bankruptcy, ask. Those are the types of things that are going to help you stand out because you'll be able to intelligently speak to your sellers and also a buyer if a buyer wants to make an offer on a short sale. But you do want to connect with their attorneys, okay? This is what I'm super excited about. I love speaking. I love talking to bankruptcy attorneys. It wasn't always that way, but I know that I can help them and their clients by adding value to their firm. The value to their firm is having me on their team to explain in depth, in easy terms, not all the legal mumble jumble that these attorneys use, to these sellers, okay? It's funny because the clients still call me. I don't know what John just told me. Can you explain it to me in easy terms? Yeah, I can. So anyways, the bankruptcy leads, it's our number 1 lead source. So it is killing 2 birds with 1 stone, meaning you can market to those homeowners in a 7 or a 13. And then you can also connect with their bankruptcy attorney, either from a phone call from them or connecting directly with different resources. And we're going to talk shortly about those resources with the attorneys. Okay. Attorneys have been very powerful in my business, okay? It does take time to build relationships with attorneys, but it doesn't really cost much money, okay? Yeah, you probably want to like buy coffee and donuts and that sort of thing, and I do take my attorneys out for lunch, but it's just a timing thing, right? You have to show them how smart you are when it comes to the bankruptcy and selling. And you may not understand now, but That's why you would be a part of the community to be able to ask those questions and properly speak to the attorneys, all that, okay? Okay, step number 4. All right, well, what's number 5? Okay, so number 4 is the info for chapter 7. So briefly, how does it work with a 7? A chapter 7 client cannot close on their property in an active 7. I have a short sale that's getting ready to be approved either today or tomorrow. My client's chapter 7 bankruptcy is being discharged on the 19th, which is Wednesday, I think. So we can't close before that, which we won't, right? Because we got to get the approval letter and then buyer's going to finish financing. So we have to close after the discharge. Also, during a chapter 7, homeowners are not going to be able to find a rental in an active chapter 7, essentially because they're wiping away all the debt. So you will have to wait to close on the short sale and wait on rentals. Okay? Does that make sense? That's essentially how it works in a 7. Now, it could be 3 months or so, okay? Now, for a chapter 13, you can find a rental during a chapter 13 because it is a payment plan. So they are paying back their debt. You can show the payments that they were making and that they are making in a 13. When you go to sell a home in a 13, the bankruptcy attorney, this is why you have to have a relationship with one, they will have to file a motion to stay, which is allowing them to essentially lift the bankruptcy from the property so they can close. And that is going to be a requirement from the title company. Okay. It's not just, hey, let's just pull this out of our, you know what? When you go to close on a chapter 13 and it's a short sale, you'll have to provide the short sale approval letter and the motion to sell. Okay. All right. My secret weapon is this book. When I said I like to educate, I love to educate. I like to educate bankruptcy attorneys. I like to educate homeowners. I like to educate you, the agent, right? The more you know about this stuff, especially right now, before whatever happens in these government loans, is better. Don't wait until everyone is trying to do it, right? You got to do it now because it does take time to get yourself up and running. So this book is very powerful. I have several books that I wrote. They're all editable in Canva, which is great. You don't like the colors, change it. You don't want to be running around with a book that has Heather Keller's face on it. But the ultimate guide to selling your home during or after bankruptcy. This resource is very powerful and easy to read for homeowners that are in a 7 and in a 13. No confusion, okay? Our hope is that they don't go to the internet for advice. They come here, read this, and connect with us and, even ask their bankruptcy attorney. Because remember, they're using like mumbo jumbo, words and stuff. So this is going to break it down in easy terms. This is also a valuable resource for bankruptcy attorneys. And it's a pretty large book. It's 31 pages, okay? So I would recommend using it as a flip book, or you could just create like a QR code to be, and attach the flip book to that. I would probably want to get these printed. I'm currently using them for online, but it does take them through, okay? These are hold on, let me see. Here's the table of contents. So just an overview, explaining a chapter 7 when owning a home, explaining a chapter 13 when owning a home, steps to selling during or after a 7, same for a 13, and then what happens life after bankruptcy, okay? So that is that's one of my secret weapons. You can send a QR code to these families, mail it out to them. It's just a really, really great resource, right? They're going to be impressed. These attorneys are going to be impressed. Okay. Let's take a sneak peek. Now, I did create a whole entire system. Now, I know some of you are already a part of my coaching community. I believe that what I've put into this is so valuable, but I can't fly to your area and wring your neck and say, hey, do it. It's simple, but you do have to dedicate that time every day. And I'm encouraging you, if you're looking for another lead source or you want to get ahead of whatever's coming, do it now. Even if it's only 15 minutes a day to try to get up and running. I've seen and dealt with every single bankruptcy, auction, pre-foreclosure situation. There's nothing that we can't work together through in the coaching community. Okay. So what does the bankruptcy lead generation blueprint consist of? Not 40% of everything I use, 100%. Okay. So there are several modules here. There are, let's see here, 19 modules. So we take you through, and I have done all of the videos, okay? We take you through from the very beginning through each step of the process when it comes to a bankruptcy, whether it's 7, whether it's 13, how to get your book edited. Don't skip any lessons. People come in and they start to get excited, which is awesome. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. But you can't skip any lessons, period. Okay. They're in order for a reason, and it's going to help you in the future if you just take the time to go through it step by step. How do you set up your leads? Well, this is what the video I was talking to you earlier about, explaining setting up the actual bankruptcy list. And then we go through our marketing pieces. So you want to know what I'm sending to bankruptcy leads? It's these two. And then here is the book. So you want to edit the book in Canva. If you hate Canva like I do, you can hire my design coordinator. He'll edit it for you. And then we go through how to edit, how to basically get the postcard ready, how to get the letter ready. What do you do with the book? Okay. We have a Canva link, like I said, or I do put in my design coordinator is remote, and he's been working with me for like 6 years. So he's awesome. How do you organize? So you remember I said you got to gather the data. Well, gathering the data, we have the setup for you. And then we're going to help you get organized and consistent. So again, don't skip the lessons. I know when you skip because you start asking questions like, nope, that's module 7, lesson 3. But guess what? Every single Tuesday is dedicated to bankruptcy right now in the coaching community, okay? You don't even have to have this course in order to participate. And I'll explain that to you in a second. Obviously, I recommend the course because you're probably going to get confused if you can't see this stuff. But Tuesday is bankruptcy day. Okay, so you want to know in depth these chapters. Next week, we're going to finish with chapter 5 and chapter 6. Okay, we're going to help you get organized with your polls, prepping, all the direct mail marketing stuff. If you want to text, I'm currently not texting. Again, you really have to make sure you're following those rules. I prefer the homeowner to call me or me to connect with the attorney. I don't like cold calling. I don't like texting. Okay. They call me. It's just better because they're probably more motivated than you just making a cold call. I'm not saying cold calls don't work. It's just not really my thing. So don't worry. I'm not going to tell you to cold call. All right. Bankruptcy attorneys, how to get in front of them, best ways to connect, other resources for them. I sponsored a event this past Monday with bankruptcy attorneys. There was like 50 of them on the Zoom. I was able to introduce myself, tell them why I was here, and now I'm waiting waiting for that attendee list, and I'll be able to reach out to all them. And we have a system behind that. You can have that too, okay? And then what the heck do you do when you get calls? Well, I don't love scripts. I just don't, but we do have a very, very in-depth financial form that you'll want to carry around. There's definitely some questions that you want to ask because then you're going to post in the group or you're going to message me or you're going to call me and you're going to be like, hey, Heather, I have no clue where to go from here. Don't worry. These are the questions that you need to figure out. Okay. And then how to come up with a game plan for your sellers. They're all going to tell you they want to keep the property. Okay. So just run with it. It may be a no right now, but it ain't going to be a no forever, probably. So there's different steps to take depending on what they want to do. Okay. And then follow-up plans. They have an auction date. Great. Let me teach you how to get those postponed. Okay. And then we have pre-listing. Everything we do for our pre-listing when it comes to a short sale, equity sale, what do we do at the listing appointment? I explain the documents to you. We have an indemnity agreement. That indemnity agreement is going to protect you. You have access to mine. You just got to change my information to yours. And then what do I do for the actual listing? What do I post on social media? If you like checklists, got them right here for you. Now, in a bankruptcy, you'll have to have them sign an authorization, and you'll also have to get an attorney consent letter. They have to go in together. So we do have sample attorney consent letters because a lot of times these bankruptcy attorneys really don't know real estate. That's okay. I actually like that because we can mold them into the Heather Keller way, or the Doug Ranger way, whatever, right? Okay. And then we have the short sale offer. So there's different tasks, and I've created a whole entire task list that gets uploaded into our dot loop and gets assigned, whether it's to me, my attorney, my transaction coordinator. So that is going to be golden for you. You want to know every single step of the short sale process. Okay. When do I ask for certain documents? What do I do? Okay. Reviewing the title commitment, which I would love to review. We reviewed title commitments this past week. I think it was this past week, Tuesday, 2 days ago. Actually, no, it was last Thursday. Sorry. Oh, that's been a really long week. Anyways, I like to review those live. I would love to review the title commitments. I just want to make sure you're doing everything right up front. Happy to guide you. Okay. You just got to ask. You may be friends with me on Facebook and see that I'm literally doing a million different things, and it's Tech Week right now for theater for my kids. Anyone know about Tech Week? It is insanity. But guess what? It's not just me, it's my whole team. So you got to ask those questions. I might not be like this during Tech Week, but I will get back to you right away. Okay. And then submitting the short sale packet. What about communication? So inside of our coaching community, there's 3 pillars: communication, consistency, and organization. Those are really keys to your success. But we have all of that in place here, and so many easy ways for you to make sure you're, doing all those. So communication, really big. The best ways to communicate, the best ways to keep track of your conversation with the lender. Lots of really awesome tips. It's simple. You just have to really implement it. I'm not over the top. I'm a pretty simple person. Like, I just want to help homeowners. That's it. We don't need a million different systems. It's just like my Google Calendar and Dot Loop and me. Okay. That's really it. And then the BPO and appraisal process, how that works. And then once you get the short sale letter, your job's not done. What do you do after you have that letter? How do you go about it? How do you ensure your sellers are out? If you're in a chapter 13, that is when you would get the motion to sell. Okay. And then closing the short sale. So everything you do prior to closing, because there's definitely going to be some things. Our whole goal is to have this process as smooth as possible. And so there are some things that you're going to have to do prior to closing. So learn them from me so you don't have a headache at closing, and the seller's going to be happy, and then they'll refer you tons more business. Okay. So that is our bankruptcy lead generation blueprint. Like I said, not 40%, 100%. Okay. And then so inside of our community, if you are a member, there's 20% off. So all of that includes the marketing, that includes the book, everything. It's 20% off. Okay. And that is this. That is it. I want to make this affordable for agents because I remember how it was when I first started. And I know that there's a lot of people out there looking for a lead source that actually works. Again, I'm not going to tell you to just post on social media. Do I get deals from social media? Yeah. I'm not going to tell you to cold call. This is all very unique, non-traditional stuff. Nothing that I do is traditional. But I like that, right? So once you're a member of the group, then there is 20% off. Now, how do you become a member? It's 20 bucks a month. Maybe you decide, Heather, I just want to be a member of your group because I love your sessions and you're funny and you have a lot of valuable information. Yes, okay. This would be for you. You don't have to get a course. Obviously, if you come into the coaching community, I recommend it. You're not going to be able to move forward and be that go-to expert in your area unless you have one of the courses. But you can just come in and join for 20 bucks a month. That is it. There's no long-term commitments. You decide in a month you want to leave, fine, just cancel. But this would be step number one, is joining the Blueprint Short Sales Coaching Community. It is $20 a month. That includes 3 years worth of stuff in our group. And every single Tuesday, our bankruptcy training class. That is going through this course that I just showed you. We're going through each one of these lessons. We started in January. We have all the recordings. You can go back and watch them. Right now we are at this. We're module 6, lesson 5. So lesson 5 and 6 will be this upcoming Tuesday. Every single Tuesday is going through these lessons until we're all done. Okay. We do have some special trainings that we have done this year. I am continuing to add special trainings. What we've done this year is we've had a special training on the bankruptcy data with Property Radar. We've also had a training on the flow charts. The flow charts come for free when you purchase a course, okay? And last week, this is a huge one. Like I said, there are issues with these government loans. Every single call that I've gotten or sellers that I'm dealing with right now, it is FHA. You have to know FHA short sales and the partial claims. I did a whole training document, and this was like, it's probably at least 60 minutes of training on FHA short sales and what the heck a partial claim is and how do you deal with it. Okay. So those are currently what the special trainings. Upcoming stuff, we'll do VA, we'll do reverse mortgages. My attorney, bankruptcy attorney, will come on. We just don't have anything quite scheduled yet, but that's what the $20 a month would get you. Okay, $20 a month, and then you can purchase the courses. Each course 20% off. All right, so look, we have another course. It's called Top 2 Books Every Distressed Homeowner Needs. These are valuable resources for homeowners, but it also is a great resource to have for homeowners and to drop off at attorneys' house, or not houses, their offices. Okay, these books, I wrote them, but you get them as if you wrote them. Okay, they're editable in Canva, or you can hire a design coordinator. Super easy. Ideas to avoid foreclosure, great for homeowners in denial. The ultimate guide to selling your home is a short sale. You go into these attorney's office and drop this off. Pretty sure there's no one that does that. Okay. So you're going to get access to this course for free with the purchase of the bankruptcy lead generation blueprint and joining the community. Okay. So normally that's $397. I do feel like those books not only will help the homeowners in your community, you can use them at community events. You can drop them off at these bankruptcy offices. It's just a really great thing instead of just going into their office and being like, hey, I want to help you. Here's some resources for your clients. Like, go about it as really helping them versus just like another deal for you. Okay. All right. So that's the bonus gift. Any questions? Yeah, so I did it that way because there's a lot of different lead sources inside of distressed sales. There's bankruptcy, there's auction, there's pre-foreclosure, and then we also have another course on like attorney relationships, and there's just a lot. So I have 5 courses, and I wanted to make it easier for you and not overwhelm you. So the way that I did it was, okay, we have the monthly membership. which is the $20 a month. I mean, do you have to join the monthly membership? No, you could just get the course. You just don't have the discount. I don't recommend that though, because you're going to have questions, especially when deals happen. What are you going to do? Like if you message me, I really want to help you, but that's the point of the coaching community. That's why I made it 20 bucks a month. Super easy. It's just, you have access to me, you have access to everyone else, and I'm encouraging you to post questions inside of the community. Okay. And then the bankruptcy course is like, once you join, we, hold on, let me go back. Once you join, we will tag you in this welcome post. Okay. These are kind of the steps. Like you can go, here's a stand store. Okay. And it will take you through, like it shows you all of the courses. Okay. The courses are what you would want to get. Like I focus today on the bankruptcy. Okay. It just depends on what you want to do. Like for me, I'm doing bankruptcy and auction date. That's what I have been doing since 2007. And then how to navigate our group so you know how to find things, getting organized with the weekly live training schedule. Every single Monday, I release announcements just so everyone knows what's going on, upcoming trainings, any cancellations. I'm super, super organized. So if something confuses you, then I need to know so I can change it. But once you get into the group, then you will have access to the discount to use. I think there was another question. Oh, that's weird. Is there another question? Because it's not showing it. No, okay, it looks like it's just Doug's. Okay. Any other questions? I'll hang out for a while. Hey, Charles. So that's the other thing. Like right now we are closed in Chicagoland. I know you've been super patient, Charles. I don't want, this isn't like, hey, just join this and Heather gets rich off of this coaching community. It's not about that at all. I don't need to do this. I don't, but I do it because do you know how many times nationwide agents just don't get these short sales and then they are really putting their sellers in a pickle? I do this because I want to help agents across the country. So I do close areas because I don't want, so like Doug, I don't want to add like 10 agents in your area because you're all using the same marketing, right? So right now, Chicagoland is closed because I do have, like I'm, Kane, DePage, we have someone that does like Lake and Cook, Charles, and then we have someone that does like the city. So I just don't want to oversaturate the market. And so right now, no, so you can attend these trainings, Charles, but there's right now it's not open. The coaching community or the courses are not open to Chicagoland. Um, Let me post. You will get a confirmation email to join the group once, but I'll put the group in here as well. Make sure you use an email that you check often because we're really big on communication. We'll let you know when there's upcoming trainings. Every single Friday, an email goes out with all the replays. Monday is like the weekly announcements, and then we do remind you 1 hour prior to each training session. So that's the coaching part, and then here is, now remember you get the 20% off discount once you join, and then you would get immediate access to the other one. So my virtual team is on standby, and when that comes through, then they'll automatically add you to the book one, and you'll be able to log into that right away. Any other questions? So remember, we're not on next week, so we're kind of doing like every other week. I do have the schedule inside of the group. Let me just show you that. So if you don't know where any of our past trainings are, this is a group that all of you are part of. You would go to the featured area and click on Power Hour sessions, and everything is right here, okay? So this is how it is. It's even more organized inside of the group. So this is from like January. So here's today's, which will be updated in the next day or so. And then March 27th is our next one. Stay tuned for that. And then if you want past trainings, you would just copy this. This is everything from 2023 and 2024. So there you go, the archive trainings. Okay. Alrighty, I will hang around for a few minutes. Otherwise, I will see everyone in a couple of weeks. You're welcome, Doug. Have a great one.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I have a question.
Sure.
I'm in the coaching community,
Yep.
but I'm also in the free community. So whenever I see these pop-ups on Facebook, I get confused. Should I leave the other community?
So I'm encouraging some of the coaching members to come on to these free sessions because I do want people to know, like, hey, Heather isn't some scammer. She really does know what she's doing, and she's, has a pretty good system and community. But you don't have to attend these, Sunita.
Okay.
I would highly recommend, obviously, attending everything in the coaching group, or at least watching the recordings that come out on Friday.
Okay. So the blueprint short sales for real estate agents, that's the one where there's like 2.3 thousand members.
That's a free group.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so what you really want to focus on is the Blueprint Short Sales coaching community. That is what you're a part of. Make sure the notifications are on there. And I know you're getting the emails from the coaching community, right?
I do get the emails, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I would read all of those. You can essentially, ignore the free one if you want, but you can get some value from these weekly sessions, and it's a great way to come on if like you have questions, you could ask me. I'll go over those. But it's, you can attend whatever you want.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. All righty. I hope everyone has a blessed afternoon, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Hey, Yolanda Judge.
Bye.
We know each other. All right. Take care.